right, thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First. Plus, I'm Joy Nakrin here with Brooks Baptiste. Time for our segment called In Case You Missed It.
Well, we've got a lot of things we have got to talk about today. And a couple of those things, Joy, we want to start off with a man that is doing something that is so different, and it's all in hopes to unite our nation. A lot of people probably wouldn't go this far to do it, but he is committed to this goal. So let's get you caught up to speed on this man who happens to be going through the original 13 colonies. And it's all going to end right here in Georgia. Adam Boyd is his name, and he's currently biking through the original 13 colonies. So he started in New Hampshire. He's going to end south of us in Atlanta, here in Savannah. So Boyd is raising money for first responders and vets, and he also says the ride is a way for him to bring people together in a time of political divide. And also, while he's on this trek, he is making sure he's emphasizing the importance of your vote. Now, here's what's interesting and quite comical, if you ask me. Boyd isn't exactly a professional cyclist. Before this trek, Joy, he says he had only biked about 24 miles in the past 20 years.
Wow.
So that's telling you something about him. Also, he didn't even own a bicycle. So talk about an upgrade, or... yeah, let's call it an upgrade. I was going to say
you
a downgrade.
like it more than a car?
Who, me personally? Absolutely not. I'm not biking out there for all of those miles. 13 colonies? No!
Well, like, also, I'm trying. He's probably not. You said he is coming to Georgia.
Yeah, he's going to end in Georgia, so he's ending in Savannah.
But when? When is he going to end?
I don't know, and I don't need to know.
Yeah,
I'm happy for him, but
because I'm just thinking, like, it's very hot. Like, I don't think I could make it.
Look, I mean, you got to think about this, Joy. Right now, it's hot everywhere. So if
It's
we're
true.
not the only ones dealing with the heat. So I can only imagine what it's like being out there. But you know what? He's committed to it, so more power to him.
Yeah.
But hopefully when he does pass through Atlanta and makes his way to Savannah, we'll have an opportunity to catch up with him.
Well, I'm very impressed. I honestly couldn't do it, and hopefully he stays cool in the process. I'm very, very impressed.
Yes, more power to you, Mr. Boyd, for sure. All right, another one we have to talk about is your Atlanta Falcons. So, Joy, I don't know if you are a football fan. Kinda?
Not the
really?
biggest, to be honest
Okay,
with you,
all
Brooks.
good. Do you root for the Falcons a little bit?
Yeah. If I'm
Okay.
watching football, yeah.
Okay.
Even though I used to live in New England, I cannot root for the Patriots. And if I did, I would not tell you.
I was going to say, don't say that too loud. Somebody's listening. So we know that the Atlanta Falcons, and being a fan, could come with, unfortunately, a lot of disappointment. But now there's an analysis of fans that say we might actually have the #1 saddest fan base.
Stop it.
I can't believe we're that sad. Sportsbooks Review ran selfies on NFL fans through an AI facial recognition software. And basically, the Falcons come on top as the saddest. So I guess when we're out here taking these different, selfies and whatnot, we don't look happy in the pictures because we're just stressed out because they're not winning. Maybe that's what it is. But also, you'd be surprised who else was on this list. The Super Bowl champs, the Chiefs, somehow were #2 on the list. And then the Seahawks, the Bills, and the Cowboys rounding out the top 5. Now, the happiest fan base belonging to the Washington Commanders of all teams. And let's not forget, in 2023, they had a 4-13 season. So I don't know why people seem to be happy out there with them, but you know what? Maybe your Atlanta Falcons are going to be a little better this year. I think we're all hoping, but too many people don't try to get their hopes up too much because they just know they will be left disappointed once again.
You know what? This makes me feel better that I'm not like that into the Falcons
Yes.
because, I don't want to be depressed.
Yeah, and I was going to say, Joy, obviously, Atlanta is full of transplants. There are some people who have been here their entire lives, but a lot of us have moved to Atlanta, whether it be for work or just, wanting a new city to try something different. But man, oh man.
They didn't move here for the Falcons, though.
No, they did a lot of things.
Unless they're playing for the Falcons.
Unless they're playing for the Falcons. And sometimes they get up out of here quickly, too, but I'll leave that alone, okay?
Oh, my Lord, Brooks. I'm worried about the kind of hate mail I'm going to be
I know,
getting
yeah,
after this.
please don't write in, guys. These are all just jokes, I promise.
Well, let's talk about, MARTA, because people also have feelings about MARTA.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk about the kind of, controversies surrounding MARTA, but apparently some MARTA board members don't actually ride transit, according to some documents that we've uncovered with Atlanta News First. Patrick Quinn has more.
How much does the MARTA Board of Directors ride MARTA? For some, barely at all. A revelation uncovered by an Atlanta teenager.
How old are you? Well, I'm 18.
Grayson Forster just graduated from Midtown High School and was a part of the school's Atlanta Students Advocating for Pedestrians Club. He just posted these numbers online. Transit junkies, city brass, MARTA leadership, and I took notice. What stands out here?
Definitely what stands out is like the under 10 trippers.
6 MARTA board members made less than 10 trips on MARTA bus or rail in the last year. I spoke with Chair Katie Powers about her board's ridership. She wasn't concerned about the numbers, saying they reflect a diversity of ridership. 5 members did take at least 100 trips. Do you understand the concern of some when they see the MARTA board chair has only ridden one time in the last year?
I understand that that is perhaps a concern. I've got an almost 2-year-old, and so I think many Metro Atlanta families will relate when I say we don't get out. But when we do, and when there's an event that we're able to utilize and access MARTA, we certainly enjoy that.
Though Powers told me even before she was a mom living in Clayton County, she still rode MARTA less than a dozen times a year. And the reality is, many parents rely on MARTA for more than events, but for their everyday needs. In fact, during our interview, a MARTA bus pulled up, and this woman, stroller and baby in hand, walked off at the Justice Center in Jonesboro. Forster said the lack of ridership by many board members shows they're out of touch with the transit needs of those in Metro Atlanta.
I asked MARTA leadership to explore the system through the lens of the riders. Experience one of the hundreds of buses that are canceled every day. Experience the infrequent late night and weekend transit service. Hear the conversation at the bus stop.
Powers stressed to me personal ridership of individual board members does not dictate the board's decision making.
I don't think ridership on the board affects anything other than the anecdotal evidence that individual perspectives bring.
But does a lack of ridership show an access issue? If a board member can't access MARTA, who happens to live in Clayton County, what about the residents?
Right, which is why we are expanding access. That biggest expansion that's going on right now helps to remedy that access.
Powers said they're working to return MARTA ridership to pre-pandemic levels. For Grayson, he'd like to see more board members themselves get on board.
If you're tasked with calling the shots of such a large transit agency, you should have transit experience.
Patrick Quinn, Atlanta News First.
All right, so speaking of transportation, Georgia Racing is actually establishing itself, Georgia is racing to establish itself as the electric vehicle capital of the world. Atlanta News First reporter Abby Kasouris found companies are producing more alternative fuel vehicles in Georgia every single day.
And this is the first year we've ever had a hydrogen vehicle at the Clean Energy Roadshow in 14
Looking around this parking lot, Georgia Public Service Commissioner Tim Echols says in the 14th year of the Clean Energy Roadshow, he's amazed at the evolution of alternate fuel vehicles, many manufactured here in Georgia.
But this is a 3-seat SUV that's fully electric. This one made in Georgia, serial number 1002. So it's the 1002nd car off of that Georgia line.
The first hydrogen golf cart, a boat powered by biofuel, a Marietta City school bus fueled by propane. But Georgians are conflicted.
I thought about getting a Tesla because it's an electric car. I thought about that because if I don't have to get gas, I've seen what's going on with the gas situation.
Looking closer at the consumer data, roughly half of all Georgians are not ready to give up their gas guzzlers. A study from Quantrill Subaru found 20% of Georgians polled cite the higher upfront cost as a drawback. Another 20% are concerned about finding available charging stations.
What I thought of was I just say I'll get the best of both worlds, which is I forgot what it's called. Hybrid.
This is the Kia EV6 you saw.
Eccles says these vehicles are not for everyone, but they could be an option to save you money in the long run. Federal EV tax incentives could cover up to $7,500.
The cars are dropping in price. The cost to operate, being able to charge your car overnight for $3 instead of filling it up for $30 or $60.
In Austell, I'm Abby Kasouris.
Thanks so much to Abby for that report. Okay, let's talk about school safety now, keeping guns and dangerous weapons off of school campuses. A $1.6 million purchase, I should say, will now expand security systems in DeKalb County. As Atlanta News First Yasmina Alston reports, the district stadiums will get them too.
These are the machines that will be added to even more DeKalb County schools. They're called Evolve. The board voted on the issue Monday because the district has seen a decrease in weapons confiscated since initially placing the machines in other schools. Lakeside, Columbia, Dunwoody, and Chamblee High School are now getting additional Evolve systems. DeKalb Early College Academy and Wadsworth Magnet School are getting them for the first time.
Prior to the implementation of the Evolved Weapons Detection System, the company representatives met with every school administration and security team to conduct an assessment review to determine locations in the school building with the greatest need for them.
In the 2022-23 school year, there were 24 guns confiscated, according to school officials. But the year after the initial machines were brought in, there were only 4 guns taken. The district's 5 stadiums are also getting them, places with large numbers of students during football games. The board discussed the item in detail. One of the issues brought up was some concern as to which schools were and weren't chosen.
I did notice that Wadsworth was on the list to receive devices or Evolve for the first time. So DeKalb Arts Academy is a K-8, and it did not get Evolve machines originally, and so I was curious to know the rationale. I think Wadsworth is a 4-8, so it's a little different, K-8, 4-8, but I have received a request from that community of why don't we have weapons detections.
And thanks so much to Yasmina Alston for that report. More on that and all of our top stories on AtlantaNewsFirst.com. Also a free mobile news.